What's up, folks? Welcome back to Watching Paint Dry. We're back! We're finally back. Welcome to another letdown. This is the show where my friends and I hang out long after we probably should have gone to bed and work through the ridiculous backlog of miniatures we've accrued over the years and over the past months, days, weeks, whatever, to paint. There's an old adage that says if a miniatures painter ever runs out of projects to paint, he or she will perish. So we are just trying to stave off death as long as we possibly can. I don't do this alone. Please welcome back to the show my good friend, our resident monkey handler. It's Mike, aka Broody Gambit. How's it going, dude?
It's going great. Super glad to finally be back painting.
For real. It feels like it's been absolutely forever. Uh-oh. Looks like my dock cam might not be working. I'm going to have to fix that live. Okay, well, anyway. As with all the shows that we host on the Another Letdown Media channel, we believe in civil rights for absolutely everyone and in being as inclusive as possible, so any comments or activity actively working against that goal are not welcome and will not be tolerated. With that, let's paint some minis. It's finally time. Watching paint dry. There's the button. Oh, yep, my document camera is definitely busted. Let me see if I can get that going. Hey, Captain Kirk. Oh, you're playing Sentinels RPG. Nice. Feel free to lurk because it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna show off some cool stuff in just a minute as soon as I can get this stupid thing working. Let's see. Properties. There it is. Deactivate. Activate. Yeah, got it. That worked. Problem solved. Okay, so what do you got tonight? What's on your workspace?
I'm working on Salvador from Borderlands 2. The Gunzerker.
Oh, dope. I love that character.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorites. Hey, RPD. Yeah, that's fine, man. I wanted to show everybody, I've been 3D printing stuff. It's finally happened. Adam and Broody finally convinced me to fire up my 3D printer and just kind of ball so hard. I painted Hawkeye on the stream when we had Adam with us a few weeks ago, but I've done a lot of printing since then, and I've got some really cool minis courtesy of the C27 Patreon. Can't shout them out loudly enough. They've done an absolutely amazing job. I did have one failed print. This is Shocker. I just gotta zoom in here. This is Shocker from Spider-Man. Relatively unsuccessful. Obviously, his leg is missing, but I think I can just sculpt that by hand. Give me a good challenge. I love the detail on Ben Parker's headstone. I don't know if that's coming through on the camera, but it's pretty impressive. Beyond that, I did Dazzler. Dazzler was the first one I did with a not official MCP base. You know, like the gray ones that have been shipping with it. I did all the other minis with those. But Dazzler had this awesome wooden floor that C27 put together. And I'm just really, really happy with that. And then I did prime a couple as well. They look great primed. So we got Pyro over here. He's looking cool. And my personal favorite, Kitty Pryde, Shadowcat, and her little buddy Lockheed. So you can, we have some stuff to look forward to on the show, it seems.
Sorry, I had to duck out and get, it's been long enough that I don't have water in my paint pot.
Yep, I don't either. I'll be right back. Broody, entertain the crowd.
Hi everyone, I apologize for my terrible sounding voice. I am still recovering from pneumonia a few weeks ago. Suboptimal, 0 out of 5 stars, would not recommend. I've still been coughing, which has been a pain in the butt. And to constantly explain, nope, I don't have COVID. I am going to have a cough for like a month or so because of pneumonia. But I will say at least the time to wait up with pneumonia gave me plenty of time to finish Metroid Dread. I pretty much stayed in bed for several days and decided to get that off my list of games I need to play. and it turned out well. I really enjoyed it for the first real Metroid game I've ever played.
Dude, I'm so excited to talk Metroid with you. Dread was absolutely phenomenal. Did you 100% it or no?
100%. 15 hours and 13 minutes.
Nice. It's a pretty good time. I don't remember what mine was. But I just, similarly, I just finished Metroid Fusion yesterday. And so, by the way, everybody, spoilers for Metroid Dread. Rudy and I are going to talk about it. So Ravenbeak is like pulling the strings the whole time, right?
Yes.
We were talking on the podcast about how now having played Fusion, I'm like, oh my god, I think Ravenbeak was pulling the strings through the entirety of Fusion as well. There's a similar reveal.
Like any of the characters, like I said, this is my first like Metroid game, so like the entire 10-minute opening intro cutscene was just an expo info dump of previous Metroid games that I had no idea what was going on.
Sure. So
I'm not sure if Ravenbeak had ever even been mentioned before.
He was a brand new character, but at the end of Fusion, someone is pulling the strings. Someone is yanking your chain.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my god. Has Ravenbeak been active this whole time and we had no idea up until freaking now? So having played Fusion, the Ravenbeak revelation was even more, well, revelatory. I'm going to have to deep clean these brushes. They've been idle for way too long.
Yeah, I'm kind of coming across that myself.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I was just saying, this is from C27 in the chat. This is from Genesis Asis Art. Yeah, I was just talking about how beautiful these prints came out and how grateful we all are for this Patreon. It's been terrific, and we really appreciate it. Brings a lot of variety to my cabinet, at least. Although I'm doing War Machine today. That's an actual official MCP character. Just because I haven't, the ones that I want to paint, I haven't gotten into the basement at the store I work at to prime yet. It's very cold. It's by last check, it was -8 here. Priming is not going to happen.
It was 29 here, and we have a snow apocalypse coming. And by that, I mean they're calling for about 5 inches.
Oh my golly. Well, thank you for the follow, my dude. Welcome to the hecklers. Hang out, join the fun.
So needless to say, any sort of forecast of snow around here, everyone panics.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's like mass hysteria right there for you.
Yes. Which sucks for, like, I normally do my shopping on the weekends for groceries and other stuff like that. Now the stores are laid bare.
Yeah. Gotta get my milk and bread!
Milk and bread, yep. Milk and bread, everyone wants it.
There's spiky bits on War Machine, and it's like digging into my hand as I try to hold him.
I can imagine.
It's so annoying. One of the things that I've really liked about the Patreon minis, and I think you and Adam both commented on this as well, Ed from Explosions Ed from the Explosions department doesn't lay waste to them the way that the official ones do.
Yeah, they're away from the explosions. Tactical explosions.
What?
Tactical explosions.
Tactical explosions, yeah. So I gotta ask, who was your favorite boss in Dread?
I have no idea. That is a very good question.
Yeah.
So the Emmys are no joke. Those things are pains in the butt.
Oh, I thought they were. I thought they were just goofy and dumb. I was so bored with fighting them. The Chozo were driving me crazy.
Oh, the Chosen Soldiers?
Yeah.
Yeah, those weren't that much of an issue for me. Like, most of the Emmy issues were, like, the trying to keep hidden and, like, stealthing through everything.
Oh, I didn't bother. I just ran into him. I was like, well, if he's there, he's there.
Yeah, I was constantly trying to be as hidden as possible because, like, the timing for, like, the counteract and run away was really difficult. So I was just like, let's just not get caught, and then I won't have to worry about trying to hit that very tiny window of opportunity.
Right. No, by the end of the game, I was just like, oh my god, another Emmy? Fine.
I was very excited when it was like, oh, they shut down all the Emmys. I was like, oh, thank God. And then no,
that was just a joke. The last
like,
Emmy being a bait and switch, though, drove me... I was so mad.
Hmm?
The last Emmy is a bait and switch. And you walk into it, Samus just auto-kills it, and it's a Chozo fight instead. And I was like,
yeah.
Are you joking right now? I was ready to throw my controller out the window.
Yeah. Yeah, the Chozos didn't really bother me that much. Mostly would be like, at least once I got the multi-target missile.
Oh, yeah, no, once the multi-target missile comes out, you're just like, oh, no, I own these guys.
And then not to mention, like, once I got late enough in the game and once I got the screw attack, and I was just like, well, let me just jump through the entire level screwball, or like screw attacking everything and just one-hit KOing everything and everything's dying.
Yeah. There's a great bit in Fusion, the very last boss, the final phase, you can just, like, you're gonna be low on health, because the first phase just utterly decimates you, no matter how you do it. And so you can just screw attack your way into extra health.
That's useful.
Oh yeah, it's an absolute riot. Okay, let's do this. So I actually practiced to do War Machine by doing Iron Man. And the way I did Iron Man was actually by starting out with a War Machine paint job. The flat silver with melon oil. And it was largely very successful. So I'm trying that again. I've got a reference image of War Machine roughly from the same era that this mini is supposed to be depicting. And then I've also got like a first edition War Machine, like a first appearance War Machine on the second tab. But it's kind of interesting, kind of bizarre to me, doing silver and it's not just all lead belcher. I'm using lead belcher right now, but... It's the really, really light silver. You know what's really funny to me?
What?
How you can look at a reference image, have an idea, execute that idea, and then look back at that reference image and without changing a thing, be like, oh, I could do that too. Like dismiss some, basically the first time you glance at it, you dismiss something as, oh, that's not that color. And then you look back at it a few minutes later and you're like, oh wait, no, that actually, maybe that is that color. Oops. No. Okay, that seems fine. Oh, cool. This part is on. Double check. Yes. I'm gonna swap to the darker silver for a moment. See if I can conquer some ground. While I wait for the last runs of my GameStop Quick experience to get set up, I should mention that tonight I will not be building. I'm way too smashed. But you might get idea workshopping RPD and say, "Hey, I like that. You know I'm down for the idea machine RPD. It's one of my favorites. One of the best forms of RPD." Iron Warriors. It certainly is the lightest of the alternate RPDs. Middle.
Nice.
Oh, excuse me. So I think the guys and I are going to play an extra game of Arkham Horror on Monday.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get in touch with Abby to finish our game, so...
Well, I actually had a question for you about that, too.
Yeah?
So we were talking about doing our side quest next because it makes sense in the plot. And once you guys finish yours, I'm guessing you'll have the same impression. We wanted to do a side quest foray into Egypt to make this campaign just a little bit longer. But our ruling is if the side quest kills you, like campaign over, you just take 1-1 trauma and you continue. Because for a side quest to end a campaign is just absolutely heinous.
I was about to say, and that is more than likely going to be the outcome if we do the Abyss one in Egypt.
Yeah.
Just from my experience and statistically, how many times I've played it and how many times I've managed to win.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really tough fight, and my success rate's only about, 33%.
Right. So we're interested, we want to do it, but if it out and out kills us, we're just going to take the trauma and move on with no reward.
And having lost the experience for playing it?
Right. And as with the first scenario, we absolutely got a boatload of experience on the second one.
Oh, good.
I think that's largely because the campaign is so short,
Yeah. So, only 4 issues, so they make sure that you can get to whatever.
Yeah.
It's rough. Can't close my lid.
Oh no! Is it just all gummed up behind?
Yeah, like the area around the top part.
Yep.
And there's some piece in it, and it's hardened up, and one of the other uses for the sculpting tool.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Now hands are covered in white paint.
So I had a guy come into the store today, and a separate guy last week. So this is not a shot at either of these people. They're doing their due diligence. But for the first time in my life, I had someone ask me, "Oh, do you have any more paints in the back?" And my initial thought is, what do you think the back is? Some magical oasis where I can just fabricate Abaddon Black? Like,
I wouldn't be surprised.
people are weird, man.
I need,
Alright, it looks like the upper part of his leg.
Replace that one thing brown. Almost had it.
That part is... Okay. So what's next on your two plays list now that you've finished Metroid?
Come on. Sorry, I'm having paint release. So if you can't see right now, the nozzle got a crack in it.
Oh no!
And so it just wants to go off like through the sides of that crack.
Oh no! What a mess!
Set it out. Casey is very excited about the new Horizon Zero Dawn sequel.
Yeah, that looks really good. I haven't played the original, but it looks really, really good.
I'd played the original for a little bit, but not a whole lot. And so Casey wants me to do a run through, so she can watch me play it. So that'll
Nice.
probably be the next thing.
What platform is that on again?
PS5.
Okay,
Like the original one was PS4,
right.
which I've got a PS5 also, so I picked that up and I managed to get it both. My wallet's hurting right now, but I managed to get an opportunity to get both the PS5 and an Xbox Series X.
Oh, dang.
And so I was like, I don't know when I'm going to have an opportunity to get either of these again.
Right.
And I was more wanting the Xbox, but when I had the opportunity to get the PS5 also, I was like, let me just go ahead and do that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did too. Like, I am definitely an Xbox guy, like 100% of the time. But when the PS5 literally fell into my lap, I was like, okay. So I've been playing Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's what I started up today, playing some Spider-Man also. Because I picked up Miles Morales. It's like the only PS5 game I've got right now.
Yeah, same.
And the Xbox bundle I got came with like 3 games.
So I have Game Pass and a decent PC. So like I'm at the point now where I kind of don't need an Xbox. But
PC?
Yeah. But I did I installed Forza 5 just because my students were raving about it, and I was like, okay, sure, I'll give this one a try. It's racing. I like racing. Racing is fine. It's chill. And immediately, it started yelling at me about my graphics card. And I was like, really? Like, this is going to be my experience with Forza 5? That's kind of disappointing. Because I know my graphics card is 10 years out of date, but you can't get them, you know?
They're currently on hold.
Or are they? I got a new graphics card too.
Nice.
Yep. So, I just haven't touched the camera, but it's a NVIDIA GTX 3070, and I'm very excited to install it when I have some time to. Because right now, like, what I'm playing is either on the PlayStation or retro enough that I don't have to, like, super worry about it. And Forza. And, like, if Forza's going to work okay without, or even if it's yelling at me, I'm not streaming it, so I don't care.
Yeah.
But it will be nice to, when Alex and I go over to Outriders, or when Space Marine 2 comes out, to play those in proper, high-end graphics with the Xbox controllers that I'm very familiar with.
Yeah. For me, I tend to play Xbox more often than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I had pre-ordered Tiny Tina's Wonderlands that comes out in March, for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that was back in like October, maybe September when I pre-ordered. I was like, oh, sure, I'll go ahead and pre-order this, and I'll just kind of keep an eye out and hopefully like get an Xbox soon, and we'll like whenever the Xbox becomes available, like I'm sure I'll be able to get one before March. And I spent a couple months trying to get it, and it was like, this is a lot harder than I was expecting.
Yeah. Right around the time you got yours, Walmart had them. Like, actually had them in stock.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, like, honestly, if you hadn't posted that you got yours, I might have texted you and just be like, hey, check on Walmart. But that is definitely a thing that they do not have for PlayStation. And I'm really interested in the way that both Xbox, Microsoft, and Sony are going about this whole mess, because Xbox has terminated production of the Xbox One to make more Xbox Series X and S. Sony has doubled down on production of PS4.
That's weird.
Yeah, it just seems completely backwards to me. And Chamali just sent me that message, before we went live. So I haven't fact-checked it or anything like that, but...
Yeah, I read it on, I read it like 2 or 3 days ago. I got a news article about it.
Yeah, it just seems so
But
weird.
apparently, like, they made that decision back in, like, July to stop producing Xbox Ones.
Which is absolutely the right idea. Like, the price differential is not that significant that I know of. And certainly can't be to manufacture. So it just seems like the logical call to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we'll talk about it on the podcast tomorrow, but... Let's do this. Iron Hand Steel. Mr. Steel, first name man of.
My mom like randomly called me last week and said, "Hey, we're watching Man of Steel." I'm like, "Good job."
I would have apologized.
I like Man of Steel.
I don't. But I think I will be honest, I don't have a specific reason for not liking it. I just don't like it. Which is a bit strange, admittedly.
I'm a bit of a fan of most of Zack Snyder's work. I really like him.
So I do too. And that's the weird thing.
Man of Steel is like the one thing.
Yeah, basically.
Because like I also really enjoyed BBS.
See, I didn't care much for that. So that brings up an interesting point. Like, I didn't care much for it, but I liked what they were trying to do with it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I felt like it would have been good, and I think Justice League kind of suffered from this too, if the studio hadn't interfered.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the Snyder cut of Justice League as well.
Yeah.
It's better than what we got, because at least it was like tonally consistent and not like...
Not a mess.
Not a mess of everything.
Of studio interference.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the conclusion I came to on this week's Book of Boba Fett, too. Is like, I see what they were trying to do there, and I like that. But I hated how it was executed. Like, it was... This episode was bad.
It was very bad.
I was like, oh no. Has Robert Rodriguez gone senile on us? Is this what's going on? But, no, I do like what they're trying to do with it. But I was just like, who is in charge of this aesthetic? They should be shot. Why are these awesome, like, space punks riding around on Scooty Puff Juniors from Futurama?
See, I wasn't even a fan of just the space punks in general.
I guess there's some element of punk rock kind of in my bones that it was speaking to. Some primal force of, you know, Johnny Ramone. But I mentioned...
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Did you want to finish your sentence before I kind of...
No, I was kind of making it up off the top of my head. If you have something more prolific, go ahead.
My problem, and this has actually been a somewhat like bizarre problem for Star Wars for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The cantina scene is awesome.
From A New Hope.
There are so many bizarre aliens, and just the Muppet work and the creature creation and all the stuff like from all of Star Wars.
Yes, I see what you're saying now. Yep, go ahead.
There's literally an entire species of aliens that has previously been established, called the Gang, that are known for insane amounts of cybernetic enhancements of their bodies, and they operate for the Hutts and in Hutt space for the most part. Like, they decided to go with boring, vanilla Doctor Who reject humans when you could have had a bizarre alien type, like, gang of people. And that irks me in Star Wars when they keep doing that, because it's like, why are you human? It's so boring.
Humans are boring. I would agree with you there. But I wonder if there's a story to be told there. Like, what if these humans were, you know, interacting with this race in some way and, like, nefariously and undermining something, you know? Like, what if there's a bigger story to be told there? So I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt up till the end of this first series. But if they don't, you know, you're right. If they don't explain that away in a more efficient manner, then it's just, You're right. It's a waste.
Yeah. Not to mention that the car chase was just slow and
It was slow. What was the pacing on that?
Yeah, it was awful. And it completely low-hanging, like, too easy, like, of a joke to make.
Yeah.
At the end being, keep an eye on them. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean to offend you for ripping out your own eye deliberately and replacing it with the cybernetic one. Like, obviously, he meant to do that, so making the comment about, like, oh, keep an eye on it is not going to offend him. Like, as he so much states at the beginning. Like, if there was an accident where he lost his eye, I could understand where you'd accidentally offend someone by saying something like that. But for someone who deliberately cuts out his eye, like, no, that's just a stupid low-hanging joke that didn't need to be said.
And again, they dwelled too long on it. They could have pulled that. There's a universe where they can pull that joke off. And it is like, just end with I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. That just cut it. Instead of hand-holding the audience through, oh, I'm not, don't be sorry, blah, blah, blah. No, sorry, that's stupid. Give the audience some credit. And you're right, I think Star Wars has been doing that a lot lately, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah. Audience members are not stupid. And I really don't
some of them are. But
yeah. I don't appreciate like constantly having to focus on the lowest common denominator to try and like pass that along. That's part of the reason why I enjoy the like going back to BVS.
Yep.
It doesn't hold your hand.
Right.
And sure, it may seem convoluted.
Well, it is. I mean, it's any Justice League story is bound to have some level of convolution to it.
But like Lex's plan, he's got plans within plans. He's got wheels within wheels. Like you can see his contingency plans. Several of them come up. Some of them don't come up. Like a lot of the stuff that happened, like I just inferred or just came oh, the movie didn't hold my hand through it. I came to my logical conclusion, knowing how Lex is, knowing what I did see on screen, and then I used that to piece together some of the stuff that didn't show up on screen.
Yeah.
Which then in the extended edition or director's cut or whatever, they kind of laid it out a lot more, which I was like, okay, whatever. But everything that I was like, oh, I assumed this had happened off screen because I'm not an idiot and I can logically think of some of the things based on what I have seen. And then it's just oh, now it's been at least confirmed that what I had assumed was accurate.
Right. I recently rewatched the Ben Affleck Daredevil also.
Ooh, that's a fun one. I like that.
I like that movie. Is it a good movie? No. By any objective filmmaking standpoint, no. It is a garbage movie. But I enjoy it. And you know, again, I see what they were trying to do there. Michael Clark Duncan is a rad Kingpin, by the way.
Yes, very much so. He was outstanding.
Is D'Onofrio way better? Oh, yeah. But
I wouldn't buy D'Onofrio in that style, though, that Michael Clark Duncan played.
Right.
They're different for good reasons.
I'm very glad that D'Onofrio's back. That's been really cool. Spoilers for Hawkeye, I guess.
Yeah. I'm still on Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I liked Falcon and Winter Soldier. And here's why. I had to articulate this on Facebook the other day. I am utterly sick to death of mystical stuff. Marvel has done it to death, to the point where I no longer care about it. A little here and there, fine. But the Infinity War saga, the Infinity Saga, or whatever they're calling it these days, phases 1, 2, 3, just wore me out of it. In the same way that Star Wars has worn me out of Jedi by basing so much around the Skywalkers. That I basically just no longer care about Jedi. If they can do a Jedi story and it looks like Ahsoka might be that story without mentioning the Skywalkers or without involving them, I'll be right back in. But, man. As of right now, I am just sick of Skywalkers.
Oh, so speaking of,
yeah,
completely understanding like Skywalker fatigue. Mandalorian is great. Boba Fett is interesting and I'm enjoying it. But the article I shared where they like posted Ming-Na Wen, except like they listed her as her character name instead of her actress's name.
Yeah.
Which was silly. Was an article talking about Ming-Na Wen posting to Twitter, congratulations to Katie Sackhoff about like the spin-off show.
Huh.
Before it got like officially announced or anything else, like, and it was like almost immediately deleted. And so like there's speculation that she's getting a spin-off for herself now.
Ooh.
Which I'm like, okay, great. Mandalorians are fine, but we're approaching like Karen
saturation.
Travesty. Yeah, like Karen Travesty levels of Mandalorian, where it's going to be a little much.
Yeah.
Kind of like
really.
the Skywalkers. It's like there are plenty of great stories you can tell that don't involve Mandalorians or Skywalkers.
Yeah.
But it's one of those like, oh, this brought some modicum of success, so let's beat it to death.
Disney loves to do that too.
I know, it's awful. Disney is pretty terrible about running anything into the ground.
Yup. Which is unfortunate, because they've got a lot of good properties.
Salvador here has a studded bracelet.
Oh, those are always a nightmare.
Yeah, so I'm like adding in like little tiny dots of gunmetal.
Yeah. There we go. Now I can see what I'm doing. You know, we're pushing up on 100 episodes of this show. And I think I've remembered to... We're on 72. This is number 72.
Nice.
I've just managed... Or I've managed to remember to turn on my overhead light on my document camera a grand total of once.
Really?
Yep.
Not the brush I need to use.
Oops, that's the wrong layer. Whatever, it's fine. I'm not entirely certain that there's a way to mess up War Machine. Get some silver. happen to have multiple shades? Good. So we took the students skiing yesterday.
That sounds fun.
Well, it wasn't not fun. It's definitely not as good as, like, because, the students don't know how to ski. So for the most part, we spend most of the day in lessons, which is fine. Our instructor's a good guy. Air Force vet. Very, friendly guy. And I don't know that he hears all that well. Because he still, he can't hear me when I tell him what the students' names are. But wait, once we turn the students kind of looser in the afternoon, they wear me out, man. At some point along the line, I got old.
Join the club.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you and I are the same age, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say like we're not the same exact age.
Oh, I've been meaning to ask this. Have you done any? I think I have asked this actually, but I'm gonna ask again. Have you done any painting with the kids?
Yes.
How'd that go?
Not well.
Oh no.
I had some training brushes and stuff like that, so I'm like, okay, fine. Here, kids, you can use these. I will use my really good brushes myself.
Yeah.
And I try to explain what to do. I'm like, you layer on a base coat, you figure out what you're trying to do in imaging, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. And Gavin was just like, I paint him blue.
Well,
He just painted the entire thing in blue.
ugh.
I was like, here's a space suit. He's wearing a space suit. He's holding the helmet. He's got his little laser pistol. I paint the entire thing blue. Okay. And Rain was like, I paint a rainbow. And so it's she started at one bit and was like, here's purple, and now I need blue, and then I need green, and just went through the rainbow and just so the entire mini is just a rainbow.
Well, okay. There's something to be said there though, because that's color theory.
Okay.
On a base level.
And so I was kind of look at your miniature, it's got contours and it's wearing clothing and other stuff like that, and you can kind of see what's what, and you can make your choices and aesthetic and everything. And it just kind of went completely over their heads.
Yeah, you gotta go kind of baby steps.
Yeah.
Finley, my niece Finley has her first mini, but she also knows that she's not quite big enough to figure out how to paint it yet on her own.
Mm-hmm.
But she knows we'll get there someday.
Way too much paint. Just let it drop out. Nope. That's more than a drop.
My in-laws got me a switch dock for the living room, which I promptly nicely installed on the table in there with high intensity Velcro and stuff, and it's locked in place so the cats can't knock it over or anything like that. And we were at my parents' tonight, And my wife's like, so when are you moving that coffee table? I'm like, what now? She's like, well, it's too big to be a coffee table. We need to get a new one. I'm like, well, where do you want me to put the projector? She's like, and she like couldn't answer. And so all the way home, we were driving in separate cars because I had to work today. All the way home, I was like, okay, where can I put this foolish projector? And I realized if I take the ceiling fan out, then that leaves me an outlet, functionally, in the ceiling. I can mount the projector in the ceiling and put all the electronics like next to the couch, which would be really, really dope and much less intrusive. So now I'm like, I really, really, like, I'm jazzed to do that.
Sounds awesome. I was actually just talking to Casey where we want to separate the girls because they're in the same room together, and Raven doesn't like sleeping, the 3-year-old, and Rain has to, like, she needs tons and tons of sleep.
Yeah.
And, like, she already doesn't get enough sleep as it is, and, like, having the 3-year-old constantly wake her up, losing sleep is not helpful at all.
No,
so
that's real bad.
So we're like trying to clear out like Casey's office downstairs to turn it into another bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, we got a TV in there, and she's got her Xbox and other stuff. Like, what can we do? I'm like, well, what we can do, Casey, is install a projector in the bedroom and project it onto the wall so we can like lay in bed and project it, and then just put your Xbox and the Switch dock in here.
Yeah. We have 2 projectors. We have one that I may install in the bedroom. I may just keep in here for reasons. And then we have the one in the living room. The one in the living room is slightly better. But yeah, having a projector to do and watch things on is quite nice.
Yeah, she was not pleased with that and did not want to do that at all.
Oh no!
I was like, okay, fine. It's your Xbox. I'll have my Xbox still in the living room.
So I definitely just did a large chunk with the wrong color.
That is not good.
No, I thought I was painting with lead belcher, and I was definitely painting with iron hand steel, but it's so subtle that it really won't matter that much. The difference in it. Okay. Oh, that's better. My wife made broccoli mac and cheese for dinner tonight.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Why would you ruin mac and cheese with broccoli?
So I would go the opposite direction with that. Why would you ruin broccoli with mac and cheese? I am not a fan of mac and cheese. I find that the cheese does something to the macaroni that makes for a strange consistency that my mouth does not appreciate. But to go with it, my mother made a really cool coleslaw. Now, normally I'm not a big proponent of coleslaw. I don't mind it. I don't dislike it even. I just, I'm not going to go out of my way for it. This was really interesting. It was your standard, coleslaw veg, but it also had bacon bits, and instead of coleslaw dressing, it was ranch dressing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whoa. I don't know what this stuff is or where it came from, but I want more of it. It was quite excellent. And then my mom made a homemade gingerbread cake for dessert, which is also quite excellent. You know what I've been meaning to say for a while? I really appreciate you reposting Freddie Prinze Jr.'s Feel Good Friday stuff.
I have not been doing that on Facebook for a while. I've been very busy and have been letting it go to the wayside.
Well, you've been doing it on Twitter.
On Twitter I always at least try to respond to his.
Yeah.
So it shows up. But I started doing it for a long while on Facebook, just like asking the question itself.
Right. No, it forces me to think about something positive once a Friday, and I really appreciate that, man. It often comes up when I'm, working with a tough class. Or just, as I'm just about to. In a second. Let's go dark on those. We're getting there. It's occurring to me just now how much War Machine reminds me of a Cyberman. Like, I feel like I'm painting a Cyberman from Doctor Who right now.
Yeah.
It's not until you sit down to paint and you're kind of hunched over your work that you start to realize just how messed up your back is from skiing, skating, and moving comics. Oh. So I know you've been quite busy on Friday nights when we do Trapped in Arkham lately. But Greg has expressed interest, and I think it's a good idea, in once in a while doing Arkham card game using that mod that Sammy and I found. And if you do find yourself with some availability, someone else who knows that or knows Arkham card game well would be greatly appreciated.
I would love to. And for the most part with kids, I'm having to pick them up, and I'm working, and in case of getting off and everything.
Yeah.
If we have some heads up, I can maybe account for it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll give you as much notice as we can. And it'll be,
and see if we can plan for like when we did that special charity stream or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It would be
like
that.
I knew that was coming up, and so we asked Casey's folks to help babysit that day, and
yeah.
So if I can't make it like a routine thing, but if something like that comes up and you want me, and you can let me know a decent amount of time ahead, I could probably still pull it off.
Cool, that'd be rad. We'll look into that, and we'll definitely let you know, because having, especially you and Chamali, you guys are just such you add a level of dynamic interaction to mine and Greg's chaos, and Taffy's too. Although we did keep the mechanic where if somebody donates or gifts a sub or subscribes to the channel, we will add a curse or a blessing into play.
Oh, nice.
That ended up sticking. So Cult of Gloom often shows up and, can I curse Taffy yet? Yep, go ahead. Curse Taffy all you want. Realizing I went a little too hard on bright silver. I'm just darkening up a couple of panels here. That should do.
I think that's the face coat in Salvador. I'm going to do everything in Moon Oil. If it pants, I'm going to do break off nitrate.
Perennial favorite. Oh, he's looking good. Of course, once we get the Nuln Oil down, this is going to look really dope. I'm like talking back at the paintbrush here. Oh, RPD's here, like for real now. What did you watch? Because there are a lot of games that people do quickly. And a multitude of them are quite awesome. Last run for the show was the Deltarune Chapter 2 run. Oh, that's cool. I'm not super familiar with that game, but I know enough of it to kind of like wrap my head around it. It's pretty dope. Once Josh gets a little better at Donkey Kong, we should audition to Jason or This Is Difficult. Oops. Oh my god, someone did a blindfolded Sekiro run? Ugh. That sounds miserable. I don't even want to think about that. Only 2 hours? Are they insane? I mean, clearly. Good lord. Alright. The only part I haven't done this is a course. No combat deaths after the bullfight. What? I can't, man. No, that's straight up nuts. 2-hour beat block. Oh, really? I'm still trying to convince Jatro to make the FP Christmas special. Of course, now that I got the printer working, RPD, we got to decide which FP characters are getting the mini treatment next. Always be convincing. Oops. So we're what? How many weeks into 2021 or 2022 at this point? 3-ish. Yeah, two and change. I've already finished 2 and started a 3rd book. Reading goals getting done. Never ignorant, getting goals accomplished.
Okay.
I'm reading. Oh!
Lost
I heard
the
something.
flag.
Yo! That looks sick.
Yeah, I just ended up doing normal oil over everything, so
Yeah.
as opposed to trying to like match colors or other stuff like that. Since
I think that works really well with the Borderlands aesthetic, as it did with Brutality. And I think if I was painting something like Darkest Dungeon, I would do a similar thing, you know?
yeah. So I'd mentioned that I like started the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So like Casey was on the couch watching it today, and she hadn't seen it before.
Okay.
But so she didn't really know what that was going on. She was just like, hey, mostly just asking where's Miles, and I was like, he'll show up, don't worry. And she's like, didn't you get the Miles game? Did you play Miles? I'm like, I'm playing through the first game first, and then I'll go into the sequel. Leave me be. So she's like never seen this before, doesn't really know what's going on with characters or anything else like that. Then she's like, oh, like I get to the like part early on where you like, oh, you work for Otto Octavius, and she's like, oh, that's interesting. What's going on? And then it's like she like starts like we get to this point and we're like, oh, I'm working on building like robotic prostheses, and she's like, oh, that can't go wrong at all with Otto Octavius, like.
That's exactly what my chat was saying. We're definitely not into sketchy territory here. I think I had Cult of Gloom Brian and...
Yeah, like to be perfectly fair, like in that, like in the game though, like yes, it was good intentions and it wasn't necessarily like there was like the slow descent into madness and Like, it
Yeah.
was handled very well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like, clearly, if you know the character, like, it's foreshadowing, come on.
Right. And the same with Norman Osborn. It's like, okay, you know he's badass.
Yeah. Yeah.
How far, like, what point are you at in that?
I'm still going through a lot of the tutorials and stuff.
Okay, so you're
but,
very early on. Okay.
yeah.
I
And
didn't want to.
I played 100% on the PS4. I'm just re-going through it.
Okay, so you know it all.
Yeah, so yeah, nothing. You're not going to spoil anything for me or anything. You don't have to worry about that.
Cool. So the Sable agent fights are brutal.
Yes. In fact, personally for me, it wasn't the Sable agent fights. I had a hard time with Taskmaster.
I don't do well on the Taskmaster challenges, but I beat Taskmaster after 2 tries.
Yeah, I had a ton of problems with him. I was not very happy.
The responsiveness of the PS5 controller, I think, made it pretty straightforward for me. I won't say easy. It was definitely not an easy fight. But it's just a very... Like, the PS5 controller is absolutely brilliant. Like, I have never spoken very highly of PlayStation controllers. I always find my thumbs banging into each other, and
I was about to say, my hands are always a little bit too big for the PlayStation controllers. I always complain about that a lot. This PS5 definitely fixes that. It's like contoured better, and it's slightly larger.
Yep, exactly. Nothing will ever top my favorite controller. That's the Super Nintendo. But PS5 does a very, very nice job. And I'm not about to go out and, figure out how to make one work with my PC. No, I'm sorry. I've got Xbox controllers for that, and I am an Xbox guy. But I do appreciate a comfortable controller from Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very much.
Whew.
Just got a couple more places to go with the silver, and then I'm moving on. But good lord. My favorite memories of the Spidey streams is when I established that the character of RPD does in fact have standards, and when I got to reference the Asthma monster. Yeah, that was a good bit. We, still a few more Spidey streams left, though, RPD. I know we're almost done with the main plot, but, still got all the Miles Morales and all the all the DLC stuff to do, so. And hopefully by then I'll have my video card all situated and we can do Mass Effect. But if not, Battle Network awaits.
I need to play this.
What's that?
I've never played like the Mega Man Battle Network series.
It's definitely different.
Yeah, like
I
I
enjoy
knew
it a lot.
like I know like some of the concept and the style of game is not platformy. It's like RPG based.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I'm aware of the difference and departure from the original thing. I knew friends who had it and played it. I just never got a chance to.
Yeah. Definitely a fan, but not nearly as big a fan as I am of the main Mega Man games. Which, unless you're a speedrunner, are not the greatest for stream content.
No.
Oh man, I missed a chunk. Rat. Let's go back and get it. So how are you feeling about the new Doctor Strange movie? Where do you fall on it?
No.
That's kind of where I'm at too, and I wanted to be excited about it. I'm just
For the most part, like anything now out of the MCU, I'm like, I don't really care about.
right.
With the exception of like Spider-Man, I cared about, so I saw it and enjoyed it a lot. But like any of the other characters, like, I don't really care too much about at all.
Yeah.
I'd probably go see another Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe.
Yeah,
But
I don't know
really
if I'm excited about them either. It's like, God.
Yeah,
they're
that's
cool.
But like Thor, no, I'm not
No,
gonna
for
go
Thor.
see.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much like Spider-Man, and until they really like bring up X-Men, like I don't really care much about the MCU.
So I found myself, and I'm in complete agreement with you. I found myself like, I went back and watched a bunch of the '90s X-Men. I'm like, dang, can we just have this?
The '90s X-Men or the 2000s?
The '90s, the cartoon.
The cartoon, okay, yeah.
And part of that is because I've been printing them, right? Like, but I'm just like, I want this. Can we just have this on the TV or on the movies?
Yep.
Just goofy, janky stuff. Okay. Just a little bit of lead belcher that I missed. I think silvering is basically done. Alright, so for workshopping, I'm thinking of either revisiting an old fighting game tribute stuff or do more dumb stuff with the city. Oh, I want more dumb stuff with the city, RPD. I actually have an opinion about that today. I want more dumb stuff with the city. That was very exciting to me. Where is... It's one of the few layer paints that I use as a base color. Oops, sorry. Ow. Actually, my headphones went off my head.
Okay, good.
No. I guess it's not as bad as literally every time my boss walked in the room a couple of years ago, I would bump my head on something.
Were you a stormtrooper?
I might be. Alright then, so for this stuff I've lined up, we have the owner of the hardware store who's also an excommunicated Fuji, setting up a ninja organization of their own. Okay. Digging that. So I've been hemming and hawing about this.
Okay.
When I get to War Machine's like base ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm painting it silver, aren't I?
Silver or black?
Alright. So I did actually do something kind of cool with Iron Man's. Hold on, I'll grab that. So I did Iron Man's the same way I did the rest of Iron Man, with silver and then a red wash over the top of it. So I've proven that silver or shiny base rings do work.
So have I told you how I have this like army tanker set? It's like 116 paints.
Yep.
One of them is what they call fairy dust, which is like a clear coat that has like sparkly bits in it.
Huh.
So you can essentially make a metal sort of shiny look to literally anything by like painting this clear coat over it.
That's rad.
Yeah. It is incredibly cool. And the cat wants into my office now. He's like plowing into the door.
My cat has recently discovered that he can do that. And holler outside my door, that is also his
Yeah, that's what he's doing now. He's plowing into the door and hollering.
My parents' dog was so excited to see me today that she sat on me multiple times and then knocked me over and sat on my face. But there's nothing quite like a puppy greeting. I'm trying to make Ed from Explosion's disaster piece here work for me. I think I'm going to do a cloud of gray smoke. I'm not quite 100% certain how to do that. Oh, hold on. RPD's got more from me. At the moment, her backstory is that she excluded herself, running off yelling about how she was way too old. The joke being that she was only like 32 at the time, is currently about 37. Yeah, that's, well, as someone between those two ages, RPD, I can assure you, there are times that we feel too old for that. And I'm sure Broody will concur.
Okay.
Though. A lot of area to cover.
Those bases are done.
Nice. I'm just finishing this up so I can ink it and call it good. For now.
Figure while we were waiting, I could do the steel and mud on all of this Legion commission that I need to finish.
Yeah, I've got about 3 or 4 commissions outstanding right now that I gotta finish up, but... some days you just gotta do work for yourself.
I was about to say, there's like the past 2 months I haven't really done any work at all.
Yeah, exactly. absurd this is going to work before I put ink on it. This is what fire does. Lot of dry brushing. She's vain and considers herself too old to be dateable. Oh, okay. Gotcha. A woman child who would serve beauty standards for herself and are enforced by absolutely no one else. Yeah, that tracks. Since I've got it, grab some yellow too, why not? Really go for broke on fire this time. You seem like you want me. I have some thoughts about it, RPD, but I actually want to see where you're going. On my lap. The thing about painting fire is it's so chaotic that you can kind of get away with whatever. We'll get some Aberlin Sunset in there too. After essentially running away from home like a teenager, she either sets up or just corporate ladders her way to managing the local hardware store while doing super nice. I should work the base coating that. It's going to be heavily dry brushed over anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But gosh darn it, it's a matter of pride. brick sucks. Especially when there's a big old explosion over the top of it.
That's why I usually just use wash. Fill it in.
Yeah, I don't love the way that looks.
Understandable.
But you're not wrong. Like, there's often an easy way that does make some amount of sense, and I'm just too stubborn to use it. All right, inking time. And by that I mean sloshing a whole bunch of Null oil on this model, calling it good. That's not exclusively true, though. I'm going to use a little bit of Agrex Earthshade here and there. The other character I have on my to-do list of General City stuff, the barbecue grilling themed magical girl. That sounds awesome. Oh, the main heroes who deal with her are the ninja who runs the video store. Yes. You're doing this questionable. I love how the Null oil like makes the 3 different shades of silver that I chose and used work together. Like you can see the differences, the subtle differences, so much better with Null oil over the top.
I was about to say, when you put the normal on, does it make them all look the same?
No, it makes them like actually look unique. It makes them look uniform, though, which is important, too. Dry brush to come on that. Earthshade. Like the hardware ninjas are led by someone who's definitely not a talented leader. And the video store ninjas are led by a guy who just kind of operates on his own logic and does things seemingly arbitrarily. Nice. Dogba! Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Hecklers. Go. One last color. Find it. There it is. Carisburg Crimson. Great thing about War Machine is all I gotta do is, until I finish him up, is just dry brush a little Necron compound on and he's done.
Yeah, that is a very...
What's that?
That is a very easy solution.
Well, I mean, highlighting him doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. He's metal. The dude's made of metal.
I am finished with Salvador.
Nice. Dude, he came out great.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like you two employed a dry brush forward technique on that one.
Huh?
Looks like a bit of a dry brush forward technique on that one. Yeah, I mean, other than dry brushing, which I'll do the fire for sure, either tomorrow or next week. But yeah, War Machine's pretty much complete here. Not much going on here, but the real key there is the 3 different color silver base coat. I really think that works for Iron's Men.
Iron Man.
Iron Man's. But yeah, I definitely gotta patch up the base. It's looking pretty rugged right now. But some dry brushing of various colors of red once the ink dries will really make that look good. And then also I'll do a dry brush of gray over the top to sort of add a smoke layer to it. Because it's mostly, you can see mostly smoke coming out of that. I also want to char the ground a little bit. Actually, I wonder if I can do that with oil. I'll try that real quick. It does seem like that works. It's a start anyway. I'm going to add some gray dry brushing to it to really make it look charred, but it's a good idea. Alright man, how you feeling? You ready to call it?
I am ready to call it.
Alright everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. This is always a joy getting to do this for all of you. We do this we try to do this every Saturday night. It's Broody, this is absolutely, it's such a joy that you're as dedicated to this as you are, and hanging out with you is delightful.
I greatly enjoy our time together spent doing this as well, so
yeah.
It was a nice break from everything else going on during the week.
Yeah, absolutely. I will be back on the channel on, what do we got this week? Wednesday night for Zach and Alex Gear Up. Alex and I will be playing, our friend Alex and I will be playing Gears of War Tactics, Gears Tactics. We're trying to break ourselves out of a bit of a pickle that we got ourselves into. We've done something stupid, and now we have to dig our way out. And then we'll be playing Arkham Horror of some kind on Friday with the crew. And Broody and I will be right back here next Saturday doing this all over again. Hopefully with our friend Adam. He's a little under the weather at the moment, so we're wishing him a speedy recovery and that he'll be back painting and bantering with us very soon. But thank you all so much for hanging out tonight. Thank you for the 2 new followers. We really appreciate it. Hopefully, I think next week I'm going to try and tackle some of these C27 Patreon minis because go check them out if you're looking for more cool Marvel Crisis Protocol scale minis. They rock. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.